Okay, so part two here. So we've got our title done and it's in place. It's looking good there. Let's go ahead and put our caption in. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my text tool and pull out a frame for the caption there. Something about like that. Then I'm going to go to my Word document where all my text is stored. And I'm going to find that resources for recreate newspaper. Open that. And then I know for a fact, so these are labeled story 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'll just have to look at the title to make sure they match because they're not in order. But I know this is story 4, which is right here. And here is that caption: North County received more precipitation. So I'm going to copy that and then just paste it in here. Command C, Command V. Then I'm going to just highlight over the text. I know that is, once again, if you can see under there, that is not a serif but a sans serif font. So we'll go back to that Arial. And obviously we need to use, actually, I grabbed the wrong text there. We need, despite the rain, mild temperatures. So let me find that. That was not the caption for the picture. Right there it is, my bad. So underneath the picture, there it is. Despite the rain, mild temperatures over the weekend. Command C that. Command V that. Sorry about that. Then I'm going to, you can just hit select all that or hit Command A and that'll select all the text in there. Change that to Arial. And then I'm going to check the size down. So maybe we're going to look at maybe 10 point here. Actually, I'm going to try 9.5. Just manually entering the value. Yeah, that looks better. And then I'm just going to use my arrow keys to kind of arrow it down. That's close enough. So just as long as you're in the ballpark that you're using the right, whether it's a sans serif or serif font, that's all I'm worried about. Let's go ahead and put in that Tribune photo by Laura Dixon. And once again, you have to pull out a frame to put any content you want to place on the paper. And I'm just going to type that in because I don't want to go back and get it. Tribune photo by Laura Dickinson. And then I'm going to just Command A everything in that box. I know once again that is Arial because it is a sans serif. I'm going to take that down really small, even smaller than, let's try 6 point. And then I just need to make my box bigger by pulling it out. And all right, that looks close enough. All right, we're in the ballpark there. All right, we got that done. Now we need to put our subhead in. So once again, I'm going to hit T to pull out a text box. Then I'm going to go grab that text from my Word document, which was at the beginning of the story right here. Command C, Command V, and I'm going to go ahead and just hit V or choose my selection tool and kind of move that in. That's kind of close already. So let's see, let's change that font. That looks like Arial again. And it's just maybe a skosh big, so let's try 11 point. That is a bit small. Maybe we'll try 10.5. Record high, still a bit small. Well, let's try 11. Okay, 12 point looks good. All right, that's so it's actually too big. I'm sorry about that. I need to make that smaller. Let's try 11 point. Record highs. All right, so I'm just going to select all that text and let's try the 12 again. 12 seems to be too big. We'll try the 11.5. I'm having some issues here. All right, that looks good. So 11.5 it is. All right, now we need to put in, I'm just going to make that box a little smaller so when I go to put my author in here, it's a little bit easier. So I'm going to put this in next, who it's by, and their email address. And so I'm going to grab that from the document right here by Joe, and there's their email. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in and Command A all of it, and then go to my paragraph. If you can't find your paragraph, just go Window, type in Tools, Paragraph, and let's center that. Now this is looking more like a serif, so I'm going to pull up my character styles. And remember, I'm just minimizing these by hitting these two arrows here so that I can keep seeing them. So I think for, I'm going to choose Georgia as my serif font. And obviously I need to make this a lot smaller. All right, so that looks like the Joe needs to be a little bit bigger, maybe 9. And the email address needs to be a lot smaller, maybe 6. And for the sake of argument, the email address needs to be a little bit bigger. Let's try 6.5. Okay. All right, that is close enough for the sake of argument. And I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit smaller. Okay, now we need to put our copy text in. So we need to make a new column for our text. So we'll go about there, and actually need to make that a little bit bigger. Okay, now I need to go grab all of the text. Actually, we're going to grab the text up until amount was locally the storm's greatest amount was, and then the sea rain, so there's a jump in there. But let's get the text through locally the storm was. Greatest amount was, so we'll start here. Copy to right there. Command C. We'll go ahead and paste our text, Command V. Let's go ahead and select all the text by hitting Command A. Maybe try to match it up a little bit before we put it in the next column. And so we're going to go ahead and change that to a serif, and my Georgia was working fine, and we need to make that a lot smaller. Maybe 10 points. I'm thinking that looks good, and let's just set that to auto. Okay, so the lines, basically the leading needs to be tighter, so we'll go 11 point. And I think that might be okay for right now. All right, so now we're going to, the trick I showed you was to click this little plus sign so that it loads more of the text, the rest of the text, and then we just have to draw a text box to place the rest of it. Okay. So we're a little bit off, but we'll mess with that in a second here. So let's go ahead and choose the S because we need to make a drop cap. Remember, the drop cap is in your paragraph. And if it doesn't work, it's because you have a space at the beginning of it. So make sure there's no space before the S, and only the S is selected. And I think we'll go with 2. All right, so I think my text might be a little bit big. So I'm going to click in the box and then hit Command A to select both of those columns. Go back to my character, and maybe I'm going to try see what 9 point does. Maybe we'll try the 9.5. You play around with this, but it doesn't need to be exacting. Just as long as you're in the ballpark. And I think that might be okay. I might just mess around one more time with the leading here. Maybe I'll try this at 10 point. Okay, that's looking better. So I think I'll just leave it at that. And just as long as you're in the ballpark, just get close. The text can be a little frustrating with the body copy, so just get as close as you can. And then I'm just going to go ahead and extend this and type in sea, rain, back page. And maybe I'm going push that down a little bit more. And then I'll just have to make my column a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good enough. Just get in the ballpark there. So if I zoom out and I turn off my background layer, hit W to preview it. All right, that's looking pretty solid. So we're good there. Let's go ahead and move on. Probably could spend some time getting that more back in there if I just maybe take that out. And actually that's okay for right now. So we'll just leave it at that. It's looking just fine. All right, so we'll hit W. So then what we need to do then, one last thing is I'm gonna go ahead and put in this text up here. So I'm gonna grab my text tool and I'm just gonna type this in. So after storm comes a warm week. Okay, so I'm going to select all of that. Looks like the sans serif again, so I'm going to choose Arial. It looks bold too, so I'm going to change the regular to bold. And then I'm going to make it larger, let's say 18. That's looking good. But now you notice that it's much more stretched out. So we need to increase right here the tracking. So by increasing the tracking here, it'll spread the letters out more. And looks like it needs to be a little more. Maybe let's try. Oops. 125 is too much. So 110 is looking good. So now I can just kind of move that into place. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I just need to match the color. So right here you'll see the text. Let's go ahead and choose the text for our color. Then I'm going to pull up my eyedropper, and I'm going to grab this yellow color right here. And we can just hit OK there, and it grabbed it. So, all right, there, we're good, we're fine. All right, so as you can see, we have got the first story pretty well done there. There's another half here, but we're not going to worry about that. Now, what I want you to do is use those techniques we just did to finish that first story and do 2 more. So you've got the option of this story, which includes all of this, and this story. So you need to choose 2 more of the 3, either that, the Confessions, or the Bitter UC Davis. And remember, all the text is in that Word document. All right, good luck with that, and have a great weekend.